Welcome back to the Brewing class. My name is Ty Stevenson, your educator here at the Brewing class. And it's Memorial Day back in the United States, May 31st. And as a former Marine, I'm always very memorial on this day as I think about all the servicemen and women who gave their ultimate sacrifice to help this country be what it is today, free, supposedly, right? Maybe we need to fight some domestic terrorism going on within the states now, not so much outside, but that's a whole different topic about politics. Anyways, on today's episode, we're going to talk about recipe development. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, let's say you have a 5-gallon all-grain brewing setup at home, and you just started getting into all-grain brewing after doing maybe a year of extract brewing or so. I myself only did about 2 months of extract brewing before I got into all grain. I know some people that did 7 years of extract before they got into all grain. And usually when you do extract, it kind of comes in a kit. And also now with all grain, it comes in a kit too. They give you the exact amount of malt, the exact amount of hops and yeast that you need to, the ingredients that you need to brew whatever said beer. And also, if you're just beginning, you might take recipe ideas from online, or if you use a brewing app like Brewfather or Beersmith, they have recipes on there that you may copy. For a 5-gallon batch of an IPA, you want to use 10 pounds of 2-row, or 10 pounds of Pilsner malt, 1 pound of caramel 15, and half a pound of Carapils, something like that, right? And you may notice, let's go with that example for example, right? 10 pounds of Pilsner malt, 1 pound of caramel 15, and half a pound of Carapils. This would be roughly a 6%, 5.5% pale ale. And the hops we would be using, we can go with 2 ounces of Citra at 30 minutes, and we can go with 2 ounces of Cascade at the end of boil on a 60 minute long boil, and you can use West Coast ale yeast. And so how do you come up with this recipe? Well, you let's say you started with the kit, right? They give you this exact amount of malt, and as you brew and you take your gravity readings and you use X amount of water in your strike water and X amount of water in your sparge water, and you notice this amount boils off during the boil, I lose maybe 1 gallon during the mash left over in the malt, right? Your efficiency, your brew house efficiency. And the more you work on your brewing system, the more you get to know, I know I lose 10 degrees Fahrenheit going from my strike water to my mash. So I need to bring my strike water up 10 degrees hotter than I want my mash temperature to be. So if I want it at 152, I need to have the strike water at 162. If I want it at 150, I need the strike water at 160. So these are things that you need to know when you're brewing with your brewing process on your system. Every system is going to be a little bit different, and the more you work on it, the more you kind of get to know your ins and outs, right? And that goes into building your recipe as well. So let's say the kit gives you 10 pounds, like I said before, 10 pounds Pilsner malt, 1 pound caramel 15, and half a pound of Carapils. And you know when you take your gravity reading, let's say it comes out to 1.054. And let's say you want to do, let's say after all of it's done, 2 weeks later, the final gravity is 1.006, and the alcohol percent's roughly like what, 5.6 or 5.7, something like that. And let's say you wanted to do a 6.5% beer. The more you try, you can kind of know, okay, if I add 1.5, 2 more pounds of base malt, I think I can bump that alcohol up by about 0.5%, right? And so you test and you learn, and lo and behold, you're right. Or maybe you're a couple gravity points off. Well, it's not the end of the world. It's homebrew. We're not professional brewing. And if you're professional brewing, you typically just follow the recipes that other people have done before you until you make it up to the point where you're building your own recipes and you're a very advanced brewer at that point. But this is kind of for beginners learning how to do recipe development. You kind of learn as you go. You can get recipes from other people and other online sources, recipe books and things of such nature, but brewing that on your system will typically give you a little bit different result. So the more you work on your system with said recipes and different ingredients, you get to know how it works a lot better, and you can start to develop your own recipes. Okay, well, last time I only did 10 pounds. Maybe I wanted a little bit less alcohol. I'll just do 9 pounds. It was a little too bitter, so instead of using these hops at 30 minutes, I can add it with only 15 minutes left in the boil. So 15 minutes later into the boil, that will give you less bitterness. Oh, maybe I don't want that yeast. It left it too dry and too crispy mouthfeel. I want it to be a little bit more malty, a little bit more bigger mouthfeel. So I'm going to try a different yeast, maybe an English ale yeast or a British ale yeast or something like that. And like I said, the more you work with these different ingredients and your brewing system, you kind of get to make art. That's the fun part. It's just like cooking, right? I used too much salt last time, or oh, that zucchini didn't go very well with the broccoli. I should have used rice instead. Things like that. And that's what brewing is. That's recipe development. It's the art. For me, I can come up with a recipe while I'm looking online to get my ingredients, or at the homebrew shop picking the ingredients. It all comes to me very naturally now, as I'm especially working on a new system I have here. I've done 8 batches. I'm getting to get the hang of it pretty well now, and I know how much temperature I lose. I know how much volume I lose. So it's all just building that chemistry between the ingredients, the process, and the artistic side of your brain. And that's about it, guys. If you have any other questions on recipe development or any other thing about brewing, feel free to shoot me an email at brewer@thebrewingclass.com. My name is Ty Stevenson, your educator, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.